Good morning. When the word Holocaust is mentioned, how does that make you feel? Angry, betrayed, hurt, or you may think Hitler, Germany, or death. Well, when I hear the word Holocaust, I think the genocide of 6 million Jews who lost their lives because they were Jewish. The Holocaust was a very mournful and heartbreaking time, not only for Jews, but for other minority groups who were tortured, sent to concentration camps, abused, and starved until death. Jews were forced to wear yellow stars that said the word Jude on it, which meant Jews in Germany. When people would see them wearing these stars, they would scowl at them and make them feel worthless about living. Does this sound okay to you? By a show of hands, how many of you are a Jewish person or belong in a minority group? If this was back in the mid to early 1900s, this could have been you. It's heartbreaking and should be made totally aware. Today, I will convince you that the Upper Dublin School District School Board should allow a social studies elective focusing on the Holocaust. This elective will give students a more efficient and reliable source that goes beyond the thinking of what happened and teaches students why it happened. We need to take matters into our own hands and educate students on the acts of being prejudiced while we have the chance. This elective will contain information and proof that the Holocaust actually happened and was an event in history that should never be forgotten. And finally, this elective will provide students with the education of making their own decisions and standing up for what you believe in. To start off, we need to empower students and teach them how to take prejudice into their own hands. This elective will benefit many students along the lines of judging people and will teach students the lack of value, and this class will help students value the experience of the lack of freedom and total horror that the Holocaust created. There are many different exercises in which students will be able to participate in. Everyone needs to be accepted for who they are, regardless of looks or ethnicity. Students will be provided with many different ways of learning. An example of one activity that students will be participating in is they would have to write on a piece of paper why they judge people and how they feel when others judge them. This is a very beneficial activity for students because most people don't realize how much they are hurting a person by judging them and not giving them a fair chance. Hatred is based on ignorance, and in this class, students will learn that all men are created equal and prejudice cannot exist in today's world. If there were not prejudice or hatred, there would have not been a Holocaust. Next, to prove that the Holocaust actually happened, this class will allow students to discuss, read, and research more about the Holocaust, and speak with Holocaust survivors and/or friends and family of their survivors. When students speak to these people, it will give them living, breathing proof that this terrible time in history really did happen. But honestly, what proof is needed? People's lives were taken away from them due to this horrible massacre. Who would deny it? We must educate students now because history can repeat itself. If the issue of tolerance and discrimination is never addressed or resolved, a similar event could break out, something that needs to be avoided. One of the most important things that this class will be providing students is they will be taking a trip to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. I have been to this museum before, and I have to say, it was one of the most depressing but life-changing experiences I've ever been involved in. When I imagine this tragedy and how awful these people were treated, it makes me sick to my stomach. Once these students take this trip, they will recognize the Holocaust and never again would deny this tragic event. To move on, the Holocaust happened because people were prejudiced and were not educated on making their own decisions. Holocaust education will give students a better understanding of the meaning of tolerance and acts against prejudiced people. Students will be able to connect with what happened in the past to what is happening in present-day society. Many people are still judgmental today and are unwilling to give people a fair chance that everyone deserves. Whether a person's looks are not appealing or they come from a different racial or ethnic background is not a good reason for not accepting them for the person they are. We must realize that these exterior traits do not matter. It is what is on the inside that truly matters. Beauty is skin deep, and this class will show students that even though we are all different, hating is not attractive. You may not realize it, but we are all a part of the Holocaust, whether you are Jewish or not. We must take this thought into consideration. Although the Holocaust happened a while ago, it will remain as history forever. We must learn from this and teach our friends and family how to not be prejudiced and to accept people for who they really are, and not what their ethnicity and/or religious beliefs are. If we do this, the world itself will be a better place. For while the threat of nuclear holocaust has been significantly reduced, the world itself remains a very unsettled and dangerous place. This quote explains that even though there's no Holocaust right now, we have to teach and educate those around us and make sure the world is a safer place for everyone. Today, I want you to take action. I want to talk to Dr. Callahan to find out if there is any way that the Social Studies Department would allow an elective focusing on the Holocaust. All I can ask from you is to support this class and encourage your friends to do the same. Support the fight against discrimination. Support the fight to stop history from repeating itself, and support a Holocaust education class. Thank you.